Everyone, welcome to this, our last meeting of June in the 2024-2025 school year. I love all the students here. I'm so excited. Hi, everyone. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. And before I call for anything at all at this moment, or read the land acknowledgement, I do want to ask our new assistant superintendent to please come forward to here. Right there. Right there.
Front, back.
Yeah, back there. There's a little button. If you could turn it on, please. So everybody, I'm going to ask our superintendent, Sean Nosek, to please introduce our new assistant superintendent.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Yes, starting just yesterday, we're very pleased to welcome Assistant Superintendent Pete Nuge, brand new to our school district, but a very experienced school district leader, joining us from the Vancouver School Board, where he was Associate Superintendent. And let's all give him a warm welcome to Abbotsford.
You can make a remark if you like.
First I'll say the last 2 days have been amazing. Lots of great people. Good to be here. Looking forward to meeting lots of the folks in the room in different capacities. And really just been a great time in the last couple of days and looking forward to learning and growing in Abbotsford.
Fabulous. Welcome here.
Thank you.
And it's Pete, if anybody asks. Don't ask why. Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone. We acknowledge tonight that the Abbotsford School District is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Samath First Nation and Mathqui First Nation. With this, we respect the long-standing relationships that Indigenous nations have to this land, as they are the original caretakers. So with that, I need students to use really big voices, but we're going to rise for the singing of O Canada, right there. Drop the puck, except we're an hour out. Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. At this moment, I would like to request adoption of the agenda moved by Trustee Kandaraj, seconded by Trustee Peterson. Our voting buttons will appear. You'll see them on the screen. This is how we vote now. We don't raise hands unless we have a technical malfunction. Thank you, everyone. A couple things that we've got on our agendas this evening, but one of the things that I've started doing in, I think it was January, I've decided that I need to recognize those folks in our district, not necessarily by name, but by activities that they do in the spirit of service for our students. And today I want to acknowledge our facilities department. There was a mural that went up in Chief Dan George and just was officially opened last week. And the wall that was chosen had a television on it, so they couldn't start right away. And indeed, facilities said, yes, you can, and came racing in and moved that television so that the work could begin, so that the students could have their mural. And what that meant was, the artist who was doing the mural could also invite along 2 students to do that work with him. And it was pretty impressive about how swiftly they moved when it was in the spirit of service for students. So big shout out to our facilities department. Thank you. That's just one example of the many, 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 many things that adults in our district do to bring forward quality education for our students. That's for you guys out there too. So, in front of us, we have the approval of the minutes, please.
Move to approve.
Trustee Rai, seconded by Trustee Kandarajwan. Thank you.
Move to approve consent.
Trustee Rai, seconded by Trustee Peterson. There we go. Thank you. Excellent. Unanimous. So now we all move to our delegations, presentations, acknowledgements, part 7 of our agenda. We're going to start tonight with our 2025 Community Matters Award presentation. This is the part where I ask Trustee Peterson to push back just a little bit. Thank you. That was ceremonial. The board provides an award to a community organization. We do not provide it to staff members. I just want to be very clear about that. Tonight, our recipients do have staff members here in support of the award that is being provided. However, before we proceed with who that actually is, I'd like to ask Trustee Kandarajwan, who chaired the process, to make some remarks.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. I have to say it was great to see all of the nominees and their purpose of how they support our community individually and as a whole. And it was definitely a tough decision to make when we made that decision. But do know that we appreciate all of the work and effort that goes into this community in supporting our students.
Thank you. So, anybody want to do a drum roll? The winner of our Community Matters Awards, those who are recipients this evening and every time, are folks that provide exemplary work across our district for the benefit and in service of students yet again. There is a plaque back there on the wall where you can see that we have 8 engravings, and those are previous winners. And tonight's recipient will be recognized on there, as well as receive this beautiful, it's glass, I'll take it out, this beautiful award. So what I'd like to do, and what we have done in the past, is invite our winners to come into the horseshoe. I'll pass this to Trustee Kandarajwan to present as well, but I would like the board to also gather around for a photo, because we do that and we post it and everybody is recognized. For this part, because we have several staff members here, I'm going to sort of blend this a little bit together. I'm going to ask Matt Deason to come to the middle. He's our community person involved in this. Matt, wave at everybody, wave at the camera. And then I will ask the board to gather around, and I will ask Trustee Peterson to also join. He's part of this prestigious group, but I will be presenting this. Trustee Kandarajwan will be presenting this to Matt.
We gotta hurry because Matt's going to the Canucks game.
I know. I love it.
So,
Yeah.
for those who don't know what this is, what we're doing is presenting this to the Abbotsford Police Department City Basketball Organizing Committee. There you go. Superintendent Nosek, acting secretary treasurer name, and then we're all in here as well.
I know how to find you.
So I'm going to ask Matt, if you don't mind, coming here, throw this on for you, say a few words.
Sure. You can't be asking what's the fastest way to.
Thank you.
Hockey game.
So, for those of you who don't know, the Abbotsford Police City Basketball Tournament is close to the largest basketball tournament run in BC. So we run at one time, essentially, grade 8 boys, grade 8 girls, grade 9 boys, grade 9 girls, junior boys, junior girls, senior boys, senior girls. So we're running 8 tournaments at the same time in the city of Abbotsford. So if you can imagine how many teams that is, 8 tournaments with anywhere from 6 to 10 teams. So about 80 teams with 15 players each, right? So you can imagine that's almost 1,000 students. And that's run over, 5 days. So it's a large endeavor that happens in the city of Abbotsford every December. So it's a lot of work. We have a very large committee. I'm not the only one. But there's a bunch of us who run this tournament, and it has been running for how many years now? Yeah, 25 years. Yeah, and it just continues to grow each year. And actually next year, if you've ever been to our championship Saturday, it's being held at CBC. I know Superintendent was there last year to do our ceremonial toss, jump ball. And next year, because we've outgrown CBC, which CBC seats 12 to 1,300, and we had to turn people away last year on that weekend. So we're moving to UFV next year, which will increase our capacity. So it's a very well-attended tournament. And the kids, like even my twins are in grade 7 right now. So grade 8's the first year they get to play. And the excitement that they have, like that's what a lot of students in Abbotsford look forward to, is this tournament. So yeah, it's exciting.
Oh, don't go away yet. Just one more question. Could you share about the scholarships, please?
Yeah, so each year, any grade 12 students who play in the tournament are eligible to apply for scholarships. This year, how many do we give away? 14 $1,000 scholarships. So in the past, we've been giving away $500 scholarships. The last couple of years, we have been able to increase our sponsorship and push those to $1,000. So this year, we gave away $14,000 in scholarships to students in Abbotsford. So anybody who plays in the tournament can apply. Sometimes with basketball, all of the all-stars get the scholarships, but with these ones, they're often given to students who maybe show leadership or different qualities on their teams. So it's not always the best player, which is a rarity to get scholarships in basketball like these.
Thank you, Matt. I would like to say on behalf of the board, thank you so much for this, and thank you, Paula, Jenny, and Bo, that, and of course Trustee Peterson, who's been involved in this for many, many years, and we really appreciate and value what you do for our students, so thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go Canucks. Yes.
Yeah, go Canucks.
Thanks for putting us first.
Thank you very much.
If you happen to shoot some texts our way every so often.
I'll update them.
Keeping us updated. Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our, you're a superintendent. Yes, all right. Sean Nozek to introduce the next item on our agenda.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. Yeah, always pleased to kick things off with our school presentation. So first up this evening, I'm going to invite Principal Kristen Vogel from Ross Elementary to come forward. And if you could introduce your team, and trustees, I believe you're going to hear a little bit about how Ross is using digital tools to support some of the learning and equity work at the school. Does that sound right?
Yep, that sounds great. Hi, I'm Kristen Vogel, a settler on this land and a proud principal of Ross Elementary. We're here to highlight some great things that are going on at Ross. One of them, which is using technology to build equity in the classroom. We have 4 students with us, and we're going to be doing an interview style, so I'm going to introduce them as they come up to talk. And they're going to share their educational journey. So I'd like to first introduce Ryan. Hey, Ryan. Ryan's in grade 3. So Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself as a learner?
So when I was in grade 1, I was supposed to be reading at a level A or B in Raskets, but my teacher let me skyrocket to Z1 and 2, which I still thought was easy. Raskets is a reading app where stories get harder and more complex the higher the level.
And how have you used technology this year in your classroom?
This year, I've created a book on Book Creator. It's a 65-page book on space, which includes the Big Bang Theory. There were only 2 others in class, and we would work on these while others were learning about addition and phonics. And when we got to work done, we could work on the iPad. Technology helped me learn that the precious part of the Big Bang Theory, and I learned about Neil Armstrong and the quote that he said when he landed on the moon: "It's a small step for man and a giant leap for mankind." Thanks for allowing me to share my learning and technology.
And now I'd like to introduce Kieran, who's super excited to be presenting in front of the board. All right, Kieran's in grade 5. And tell me about yourself as a learner. What are your strengths and stretches as a learner?
Hi. My strengths are math and science. My stretches are language arts. All the writing is very hard. And the spelling, you can't really spell that good because I have a speech disorder.
Great. And how has technology helped you in your learning?
It's sometimes helps you with the spelling and writing. Sometimes I use voice to text and it writes it for me. It is great when you're doing something big. But I think it's better with a little, because like half is better for me. Yeah.
And can you tell us, when did you start reading?
This year.
This year. And now he's an avid reader, which is so awesome. But before that, you were listening to a lot of books, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Kieran.
Hi, I'm Dinah Gatormson, and I have a couple of my students here that are going to talk a little bit about their learning. That would be you. So this is Addie. Addie, what grade are you in?
I'm in grade 4.
And Addie, tell me about how you feel about reading.
I really love reading. I read every night on my Kindle, which is like a virtual book. I try to read for 30 minutes a night. And I love reading chapter books, but sometimes I read comic books with no color.
Okay, and Mrs. Vogel was talking about stretches. What is one of your stretches with, first, how do you feel about writing stories?
I love writing stories, but spelling is really hard for me. I try to practice a lot. Sometimes with words, I can't spell them right and I get mixed up with the letters.
And so what happens when you're sharing your stories with friends?
Sometimes when I share my stories, there will be words the letters are mixed up and they can't understand what I'm trying to write.
And then what technology did you use this year that helped with that?
Technology that really helped me was voice to text and something that corrects my words. For when I write words that are mixed up or that I mixed up the letters, it will have a red underline and I will be able to click on it and it will give me 3 different options to what I was trying to write.
And what platform did you put your story in this year?
This year I put my book in Book Creator.
Okay, and that's on the screen. There's an example of a few pages from a Book Creator. We couldn't share all of them though today, could we? Okay. Okay, this is, do you want to say your name? Do you want to tell everybody your name?
Violet.
Okay, so Violet's here to interview me a little bit today. So Violet, what grade are you in?
5.
Okay, and you have some questions you want to ask me.
Ms. Thompson, how have you used technology to create equity in our class?
Okay, so creating equity in the classroom, it's been sort of a career-long goal of mine, is trying to find ways to help those kids that struggle. And this year I had one student in my class that really struggled, I wouldn't say with reading, I couldn't tell if he was struggling with reading because he wouldn't read to me. He refused. I tried multiple times in the fall with different benchmark books, trying him something that he would be interested in, and nothing worked. So then I turned to AI to see if it could help me. Now, I'm not an AI professional by any means, but I just asked AI if it could create me, because he would just refuse to read to me. He would turtle up, we call it, and he would not read, and I had no way of telling where he was at. And in the fall, this student's, he was all about Marshmallow the DJ. Everything was Marshmallow the DJ. So I asked AI, I said, could you create me a writing that's 150 words that is about Marshmallow the DJ in a grade 2, 3, 4, and 5 level. He's a grade 5 student. And I brought it out to him, typed up on a piece of paper, and he sat down next to me, and his face lit up so much. It was so exciting to see him do that. I never saw it before. He smiled, and he read, and it was wonderful. So then in the spring, I took that a little bit further for him, and the spring it was about monster trucks. So he was all about monster trucks. That's why we have the monster truck there. And those are some examples of the reading I did in the spring. And I took it a step further, and I looked at the benchmark, and I said, okay, these are the types of questions it's asking in the benchmark. I said, can you create me the writings, again, the grade 2, 3, 4, and 5, and create me inferring questions as well as comprehension questions, and just to replace a word in the sentence. And he did it with no problem, and he could tell me and show me what he could do. Did he do it perfectly? No. But he did it. He read for me, and so that was wonderful. And he is reading now for me using technology to record him reading, and I can listen to it later. So that's wonderful too. Another thing I've done with it too is I ventured into school AI as well for the kids. So I heard a lot about the school AI. Okay, I better just read this one. Another way I built equity in my classroom was integrating school AI, a new platform for me. It's not something that I had used before, but I thought I want to try it with this group of kids. So we were doing in social studies, I wanted them to read the story Shishi et Co. And I asked them, I had AI create an assignment for them where it was going to be asking them questions about memories. Because in the story, the little girl talks about her memories, and she's getting sent away to residential school, talks about her memories and what memories are important to her. So to build empathy with my kids, I asked AI to ask them, have conversations. Who was the little fellow in AI that worked with us? Do you remember?
AI Sidekick.
Yes, AI Sidekick asked them questions individually, so they had their laptops all in the room. I never had my class so quiet. Like, they were all so focused. Had them in the room. He was asking questions about memories, and some of them started off a little bit hesitant, and I remember my hairbrush, one girl had said, and AI would adjust the questions for the child depending on how they're responding. And it would ask them different questions, and it was pulling out different and deeper and more interesting memories that they were bringing up, and they could connect to what was important to them, and then have that empathy for the little girl in the story that was getting her memories to take with her when she went off to residential school. So it didn't work for all of them again, but some of them, this one little boy said that he was a little bit, the comments after told me as their teacher, he was not quite trusting AI yet. And so he wasn't really opening up. But did you like working with Sidekick? Mm-hmm. It was a good experiment, and I would definitely like to try it more next year. And do you have something else you would like to say?
Thank you, Ms. Guttormson. Oh.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Guttormson. And thank you members of the board. I hope you enjoyed our presentation on creating equity in our classrooms.
Thank you so much, students. You know, one of the favorite things that the board gets to do is listen to students talk about what they learned, so we're really impressed. I am going to open it up. They're going to ask you questions. They won't be hard, I promise. And they might make some comments as well. So who would like to make a comment, ask a question? Trustee Rye.
Can I ask Ryan, Kara, Eddie, and Wallet to come up to the
right to the microphone.
Well, I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to say that you guys were amazing. And thank you for working with AI to create, for the teacher to create all the lessons, which is really good. We at the board table keep on talk about AI, how it's going to be effective in schools. So thank you for showing us that it is affecting so well. Just a question to all of them. What part of working with AI did you like the best? Just maybe one of you can answer that. Please.
I love that I was able to share my books with my friends so they could actually understand what I was trying to write now.
Cool. Please.
I'm not a really good drawer, so I loved how it could just search up images, make a really good book that I enjoyed creating.
Cool. So, is there a place? Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
I liked how I'm able to make my own books on it.
So, is there a place online somewhere where we can, if we want to go and read your books? And also,
I can.
I could send you QR codes to the 3 students here, and I'm not sure, Karen, I have to talk to Mrs. Johnson to see if you have a book made, but I could send them to you. I made books last year.
please.
Yeah.
Please, that'll be awesome if you can send it on to us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well done, guys.
Thank you. No, you guys stay there.
You stay there.
Stay there. You all have to stay there. Come back. And the reason we have you stand there is so that it can be into the microphone, because there are people online listening to you as well. So, Trustee Roach.
Yeah, I piggybacking on Trustee Rye's comments there. What I heard each of you say is that you like to create something using technology, and in our household, we always say it's way better to create using technology than to just consume using technology. So, keep that good work up. I think you've got a great future ahead, and thanks to the teachers as well for adopting some new ideas, right? There's so many new tools available, and you've demonstrated how those tools can really make learning individualized for each of you. Great work.
Thank you. Trustee Kandaraj.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. Sorry, I've kind of lost my voice on the weekend. It was a great softball weekend. A couple of comments and observation I had is that, Kieran, when I heard you speak, I feel like there's some courage coming out of you from using technology. And Addie, when I heard you speak, I could see the trust and admiration with your teacher. Ryan, when you spoke, it was definitely confidence coming out. And Addie, when you were speaking, it was just all about curiosity. So I love the fact we are using AI and being proactive and finding a connection for our students to grow and to continue to grow. And I've heard so much about Book Creator, and I love hearing these stories about how Book Creator is making a difference in our kids' lives. So thank you. My one question I have is the opposite of Trustee Rye, is what was one thing that was challenging for you when you used AI?
It not hearing me properly.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ryan.
When you have a picture in mind, without drawing it, you can't draw it or you can't find a picture. It's really frustrating that part.
Yes, you're frustrated. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Very good. Okay, thank you.
I see no other hands. To you, students, and to your families who are here, and of course, to our staff from Ross Elementary, thank you. A privilege to have you join us. I think it might be a little more difficult to teach us older folks how to use AI, you think? Yeah, probably. Okay, got it. I'm going to ask at this point that Trustee Rye come up. He's got a little something for you, and then we have Ms. Ferguson, who's going to come around, and she's going to take a photo of you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I usually don't get to get a picture, but I'll get
Yes, yes. Over here? You guys in the front.
Kind of like organizing a family photo.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. So now, Superintendent Nozick, back to you.
Thank you, Chair Wilson, and thank you again, Ross Elementary, for sharing such a great story with us. I'm excited now to ask Principal Ryan Colbert to come up, and he I know has Miss Renison with him, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear about a legendary event that happens in this classroom. It is a 3-day classroom camping adventure. And maybe I'll just leave it there because I'm sure all the questions you may have are soon to be answered. So over to you, Principal Colbert.
Thank you so much for having us here this evening. I am Ryan Colbert, the principal at Harry Sayers. I'd like to introduce Andrea Hoving, the vice principal, is here as well, along with Shanit Diol. Wave, Shanit. Gurgis Boprai, Maya and Avni. Take a wave. And Rebecca Renison, come on up and join me. So this is a little bit different. This is the last, I believe, school presentation of the year. So perfect. We're going to springboard into summer with Camp Renison. And Rebecca Renison, for the past 15 years, has transformed a grade 2 classroom into an immersive camping experience for the kids. By not taking grade 2s out in the wilderness, but she has brought the wilderness to the classroom. And this is also a celebration opportunity because Rebecca is retiring. So she's been given 32 years to the Abbotsford School District, and we thought, what a great way to send her off next week into the sunset, to the campfire. So this has been an opportunity for students and staff are all excited when Camp Renison begins setting up camp. Becky, Mrs. Renison, sorry, Rebecca, Becky, has been a role model for staff and for the school to show creativity. She's innovative, and the innovation and the opportunity for these kids to immerse themselves in this experience. I think you're going to enjoy the presentation. As we have some videos and et cetera. We'll get the kids to come up and talk about their experience at the end. I guess I'm in charge of the slides. There we go. So there's Mrs. Renison getting her retirement gift a few weeks ago. So the 3-day classroom adventure allows students to bring their own tent, stuffed animals, sleeping bags, and snacks, creating an engaging and memorable experience. I already said that. Camping setups, so students set up their own tents in the classroom and sleeping areas, fostering independence and teamwork. The class participates in traditional camping activities such as singing songs, making s'mores, you're going to see some of that in a moment, and sharing campfire stories. Students learn essential camping skills and routines, including cooperative games and bedtime rituals. Mrs. Renison.
Okay.
This is how they're welcome.
So on the first day, I've put everything to the side, and my mat is just set up with the campfire in the middle, with little tea lights. The lights are off, with camping cereal, because that's what you have when you're camping. And the kids understand, and they know that when you're camping, you get to eat the junk food and the snacks. There's no electricity, there's no electronics, so it's kind of the total opposite of AI. It's just everything has to be nature-based. So they come in, they sit down, and they have their cereal with no cutlery and no milk, because they know there's no fridges in the forest, so they can't have that. And then we make our plan of how we're going to set up the tents. And this year, I think we had 8 tents in the classroom. Some of them are really easy to set up. The takedown, not so easy, but, you know.
We'll show you that in a minute.
We work on that. So they go through and we talk about all the things that I did with my children, myself as a family. And most of the kids in our neighborhood don't go camping. They've not ever had the experience to go outside. Their families don't do it. They have houses. Why? Why would they want to go and sleep on the floor in a sleeping bag? Because that's a terrible idea. They say, I have a house. I don't need to do that. But I try to explain how wonderful it is to connect with nature. And we use our imaginations, and we pretend to roast marshmallows.
What's a roti?
Goes around and around and around. I teach them how to do it properly, how to burn it, and different stages of how to make it perfect. And so we go through, and so we've done a lot of pre-work ahead of time. So we talk about it, we write about it, we have all our spelling words about it. And they are really invested in having the best time ever. So they will go off to the gym, and then I will bake them real s'mores in the oven. I don't have a campfire because he said no.
Sorry, facilities didn't approve. I
And
tried.
I'm like, okay, fine. So I teach them how to do it in the oven, and then we talk about it, and they eat them, and it's all gooey and messy and delicious. I think there's a picture of
There's a reason. I really enjoy the unit myself. I think it's a great experience, and
That's a great
it's not a great shot actually. But I put it in there. What the heck? If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at, right?
Yeah, no, it's great fun, and it's fun when the other people come in because I have lots of visitors that week. All the past students, oh, it's a camping week, and they try to look in, and I close the shutters so they can't peek, and the lights are off. We didn't talk about that. The lights are off, and I have a lovely smart board, which is old and outdated, but I love it very much, and I know they're going, but my smart board has a big campfire with all the crackling sounds of nature, so it feels like a campfire. I have my essential oil burner burning campfire oil, so it smells like a campfire. It's as campy as you can get without the bugs, but we talk about bugs. So I just want them to, oh, and we have the night light as well. So all the lights are off, and so we have the northern lights swirling in the dark. And yeah, the kids think it's fantastic. They have their bed set up. They have to learn how to roll their sleeping bags. They have to make sure everything is organized. They do have to go to bed. They have a nap. It has to be quiet. It never is. They try. I teach them how to do flashlight
Which will
games. So they have to learn all these things.
Hi.
There's the campfire. So it's lots of fun for the kids. They have to bring games from home, no electronics, so they have to do the game time by the campfire. We sing all the camp songs. They will burst into song at any time you give them an opportunity. And then we have one of our colleagues, Lori Byron, who is an actual outdoor backpack camper, and so she comes and she brings all of her gear in and she unpacks everything and shows them how to camp just with what you have on your back, all the cool little gadgets and gizmos, so the kids get to try out all that stuff, which is really cool. So it's not just camping in the classroom. I think that's our song.
Yeah, we can play a song.
You guys didn't sing very loud that day.
Anything can be possible. In around in the natural. In the middle of the giant forest of trees. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. Let's go camping out. Let's go camping out.
Anybody want to come to Harry Sayers to? And then that's the game. Well, the game time. Yeah, you talked about.
Yeah, so we had to play the games all by flashlights. I had headlights. We read ghost stories, not scary stories, but ghost stories by the campfire with my headlight on. They played all of their old-fashioned games, the Connect Four, and that's that. Who's this? What's that game called? Guess Who?
Yeah, Guess Who.
Guess Who? All that good kind of stuff. But it's so much fun. The kids talk about it, and I have kids who have been gone from our school for years and years and years, and I get text messages from random kids. Do you remember me? Do you remember? I was in your class. We went camping. I'm like, yeah, I do. I remember that. So it's been something that's been going on for a long time, and one of the greatest compliments I get from the kids is that my mom and dad are taking me camping. We're going to go do it. So I've had actual families this year say, well, now we have to go camping. So getting them to love the outdoors and to be back in nature. The worst part is the end, because like I said, putting the tents up is easy, taking them down is not. And I tell the children, whatever you bring in your bag, look carefully, because you have to pack that bag up again, because I'm not going to do that. That's your job. And yeah, I didn't fold one sleeping bag or any of that this year. But some of those tents that you just pop up, and they have those round curly bits, it's almost impossible. I think you need a degree. It was me and Mr. Google.
And we'll show
to
that
put
right
those.
now.
Yeah, so here's the pack up. It took a little longer than this in real life.
So the feedback I've received as a principal, but I know Becky has as well, is that parents and students consistently express their love for this unit. And teachers are, we can't do a camping unit, that's Mrs. Renison's unit. So we're really gonna miss that. Maybe someone, you never do it like Mrs. Renison has done it, but hopefully maybe it'll still live. But we have to celebrate this, being its Becky's last week, next week, highlighting its impact in student engagement and learning. And unit fosters a sense of community, shared experience among students, parents, and teachers. So it's beloved, and we're going to miss the unit, but we wanted to highlight it this one last time, or the first time for the last time, but hopefully springboard you into summer. So I'd like to bring up Chanit and Gurjis, who are currently Mrs. Renison students, and we have a couple grade 5 students to talk about their impact. So Chanit, tell me something that you really enjoyed eating during the camping adventure that you had in the classroom this year.
S'mores.
Okay, just talk in here a little bit. Yeah. What did you like the best?
Probably s'mores.
And why, have you ever had a s'more before?
No.
No. So what's in a s'more? Do you remember?
Yeah, chocolate and marshmallows and crackers.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Gurjis, tell me something you built or did that you learned that you haven't never done before that you found.
Putting down sleeping bags.
Okay. What did you do? Like, why was that interesting to you?
We needed to set them up and put our pillows down and put our soft friends.
Your soft friends, like your cuddles.
Yeah.
Have you ever either camped before with your families?
No.
No. Okay. Awesome. I'm just going to get you to scooch to the side. We'll bring up Maya and Avni, and then I'm sure the board would like to ask you a few questions. So Maya and Avni, come on up. Maya, tell me something that you remember about this unit, because now these are 2 grade 5 students that were Mrs. Renison students. So tell me something you really, you looking back that you really enjoyed about that unit.
I remember singing songs, like camping songs, and while we were doing camping, and I also remember eating s'mores.
Okay, and Avni, have you ever camped before, and or are you thinking about camping in the future? What did this unit do for you in terms of your mindset for being outdoors?
Well, I've never camped before, and maybe in when I get older, I might camp. And I learned a lot from camping.
Okay. And could you all tell us quickly something about Mrs. Renison and how she taught the unit to make you excited about camping? What's one thing you really got excited about besides the s'mores or the tent?
Like doing everything with their friends.
Okay, so we're camping with your friends. Okay. Anybody else? Just go ahead. Yeah.
Like when it was game time, you could stay in your tent and do a pillow fight, or you could go play games with other friends, because some of the friends bring the games and some did not.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to say something you're thinking of? No. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Probably singing songs, because I liked the songs that we sang.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much. If you want to ask the students.
We're going to. We have an early investor here, Trustee Peterson, waving his hands in the air. Go ahead.
Thank you. No bugs, no rain, s'mores, and pillow fights.
Yeah.
That's my kind of camping. I love it. But anything that teaches kids the value of being outside in nature is extremely, extremely valuable. So thank you for what you've done for all these years. And I bet you there are a lot of campers out that are thanking you because of what you've taught them. So well done. And just a question. Have you ever put up a tent in your backyard and slept in the backyard? Do you think that's something you could do now that you've been taught how to do it? You're going to have to ask your mom and dad about that, all right? Yeah, but I would really encourage you to get outside and be in nature, so well done.
Yeah, you have to be careful, yeah. Just students, you have to be really careful with Trustee Peterson, because he makes these things that you always have to ask your parents about first. So just those suggestions, just be careful. Okay. Trustee Kendra Rajwan, then Trustee Rai, then Trustee Rowe.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. I come from an immigrant family as well, first generation born here. actually in New Westminster. So I didn't go camping until my 20s. So I appreciate learning about camping before I actually went camping. And I never knew what camping was. And I had the same experience, like, you want me to sleep on the floor? But now I love camping. We go every year. And so I'm just curious to the students, what is something that you didn't know about camping and you're happy that you learned about?
Any one of you?
Mhm.
Come on.
You're ready to go. Go for it.
Something that you didn't know and you learned about.
About like all like how to use all like the camping gear
Mm-hmm.
to put up a tent.
Yeah, it's not easy, right? Yeah. Yeah.
To unroll sleeping bags.
Oh, that is, I agree. It's so hard to do. I still don't do it right.
And to learn how to make s'mores.
Yeah, it's the best part. Thank you.
All right, Trustee Ryan, then Trustee Roach.
Thank you for coming. I've heard about the camping before. Maybe you don't know it, but my wife is a teacher in your school. She's her door is right in front of, I'm going to call you Becky's class, right? So
I was interchanging.
yeah, in front of Becky's class. But no, so why didn't you get us pillows so that we could have a fight? That's what I want to know. I really wanted to have a fight here, pillow fight with my fellow trustees, not with you guys, definitely not with you. So,
That'll be after the meeting.
and s'mores. I would have loved some s'mores, but no thanks. So I think it was really enjoyable for you. Can you, like, any of you tell me, like Mr. Colbert here was saying that about packing the stuff back in, who of you got it right the first time? Or was it really difficult? Yeah, please.
Bravo.
So please, yeah, tell me.
It was pretty hard at first, but then I knew.
Then you did it, okay. What about anybody else? Okay, no, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
You're not done yet. So Trustee Roach.
What a fun presentation. I hope that somebody carries the torch and continues this. In fact, I think we should make it a required curriculum or something like that. These days, cities are getting more dense and people are living more indoors. So I think this is a great catalyst to be able to teach kids, just inspire them to go home and say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, we want to go camping. So I hope you guys get out. I'm thinking that Mr. Colbert would make a good bear, like he could come through the classroom.
Yeah, that's true.
So that might be a thing you guys could do. And a word of advice, don't set up your tent near a sprinkler system. Just saying. Okay.
Thank you. Trustee White.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that this has inspired you to camp. BC is one of the most beautiful places to camp. And so just wondering if any of you have now booked camping trips because of this. Do you know, are you guys going to go camping? Not yet? Well, maybe ask your parents, pretty please. Take your real camping, because nothing like the real thing.
Okay, thank you. So, students, I want to thank you, but I also want to thank your parents and your families for bringing you this evening so you could share with us. I love camping. I've been a camper since I was a little girl. I grew up on a farm, so it was really easy. I had all this big outdoor space, and I could sleep in the field. I just had to take my sleeping bag and stare at the stars. So, when you go camping, where would you like to go camping?
At a campsite.
At a campsite. That's pretty awesome.
What do you look
Okay.
for when you were setting up your
Grass and
campsite?
trees.
Okay, so
Grass and trees.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Either of you?
Like a free space, like an open.
Yeah.
And maybe like a forest or something.
Yeah, forest. So here's a little top secret thing. I look out my back door into a forest, and there's a bear that lives behind me, and she has baby cubs. And we get to see them sometimes, so I'm not sleeping outside right now. But I love looking at the bear, because the bear is pretty fun. Yeah. So I'm going to come
Can I just say
over.
one more thing?
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah,
Trustee Ryan.
sorry. I just want to say two things. First, Becky's husband, Jason, is here, and daughter-in-law. Yeah, they're here. It's the first that I've seen husband come here, so good for you. They're coming. And second, when you guys go back, please tell Mrs. Rai that I asked good questions. I wasn't bad. I was nice, so I don't get into trouble when I get home. Don't get into trouble when I get home.
I like it.
Thank you.
Of course, so we have, thank you, of course, Mr. Colbert and company, and Andrea, and Becky, and Mr. Colbert. Ryan, I'm going to come around, and I have something, a little something for the students, and then as just like the last group, we're going to have Ms. Ferguson come over and take a photo. And that's just a reminder that I'm your trustee liaison with Steve. I should have come camping.
Just going into the end of the There's still hope.
There's no s'mores in there, though.
Come on, yeah, come you in here too. Yeah, you betcha. Part of the presentation. Oh, you can't move yet, because somebody, you got your photos? Okay, all right, we just want to make sure that everybody's, oh, wait, there's one more. You got it? Oh. Thank you so much. Movie stars. There you go. Okay, we just have to turn it. We're not done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, if you're welcome to stay, it'll be a little bit bright all over it, but you're welcome to stay. We appreciate your conversation. Thank you. Back over to Mr. Green.
Thank you, Harry Sears. Thank you, Ross. So, trustees, I'm going to keep the momentum rolling here. We have another student presentation. We're really fortunate, and I appreciate your patience, Aiden and Atticus. But you will recall that Aiden and Atticus earned gold medals at regional and provincial skills competitions earlier this spring and recently attended the National Skills Canada competition in Regina, Saskatchewan. So I'm going to invite our District Principal of Careers, Michael Pearson, to come forward and introduce the presentation this evening.
Thank you. Atticus Brummett, bronze medalist, nationals, carpentry. Aiden Reitsma, electrical wiring, came in 6th place. We're not supposed to know that. But as you know, you have supported Skills Canada for a long time, right? And we tour all the grade 10s through the trade X, and we take the grade 9s and grade 8s out to the regionals. But they must qualify in the regionals. Okay, gold medalist in regionals, both of these gentlemen. Gold medalist in the provincials, which qualifies them to go to wherever the nationals are. We've had great success in career programs in all the areas. We've had welders, electricians seem to be really on a great momentum here for the past, I think, maybe 4 out of the past 6 years. We've had representatives, and it's just a wonderful experience. I've been involved with Skills Canada for, it's the 31st year I've been involved with it for 27 years. As a teacher, I encouraged at Mowat a set of brothers to go into this competition, one into cabinet making and one into carpentry. And I saw what it did for the individuals. It built confidence, but it also highlighted the program. And I saw it created a different momentum and a different kind of perspective. I mean, we're used to celebrating, provincial champions and sports teams and band presentations, but this organization has allowed just a kind of a celebration in the Trades Olympics, trades and technology, and the amount of energy at these events. You've all seen it at the provincials at TradeX, and then we go into the nationals, and it's a 2-day competition. So a lot of stress, a lot of competition, a lot of spectators. Depending on where you're sitting, sometimes you feel like you're working in a fishbowl. But what I always loved about the competition is it's real world. when you're out there and you're on budget and on time, you don't ever, hopefully you don't work that fast, but you're always on time. You always have a budget, you always have a bit of a timeline because sub-trades are coming in. So it's a really good comparison to what you can expect on a regular daily basis as a tradesperson. So I'm just really proud of both these guys. I wasn't there at this point. Team Mowat here, both graduates from WJ Mowat. So the representative, Jason, went with them to that. Has got two proud parents here as well. So I'm going to turn it over to these guys and ask any questions you have about the competition and go from there. So congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Pearson, and congratulations to both of you. I am going to open it, you know the drill, you just saw it a couple times, so I'm going to open it up to the table. Trustee Roach.
Yeah, great work, you guys. I was kind of reflecting too, like it is in a fishbowl, right? You've got people watching you and so on, and I think that's a real world experience too, because when you're going into a home or on a commercial site, you're going to have somebody looking over your shoulder sometimes watching you, and you sort of have to be able to handle that. So well done. I really liked how you called it the Trades Olympics. I almost think that could be rebranded that way because yeah, it really is like that. And my question for you guys is, what did you like most about your experience in Regina? Like, in anything about the whole trip?
I do have to say the trip out there was an amazing experience. However, what I learned out there, the time crunch we were under to finish the project, and everything else I learned about myself during the project, that would probably be the biggest thing for me.
Okay.
It was just a great experience overall. The people you meet, lots of people from BC that you meet, a lot of different trades I didn't even know existed when I went, the different skills. It's just all around a great experience.
Right on. Well done, you guys.
Sorry, anyone else?
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, yes? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead, Trustee Wright.
Oh, thank you for coming and congratulations. Couple of questions. I would disagree with Trustee Rauch here that I think when you finish, you should come and work for the school district. I think we have job openings for you right now, if you're so inclined. Other than the experience in Regina, what about the experience in the regionals and the provincials? Like, what did you find very interesting and about maybe the time crunch or something that you found really interesting in the whole process?
Probably, I wasn't prepared going into regionals, but jumping into it, it was an eye-opener for what I could learn on the fly, and learning new skills that I hadn't learned. For example, for me was I had never done stairs before in carpentry. So, and on our projects, on the blueprints, it showed stairs. So I had to quickly learn how the math for them and work that out in my head and make them work while still keeping it in the time that we had allotted to us. So that was probably what it was for me.
Yeah, it was just great. Regionals, I kind of went in not really expecting to win. Kind of went in as a joke to my electrical class, ended up winning. Didn't really have the intention of it. Tried my best, ended up winning, and then provincials with the same thing. But it's just cool because you get to see a bunch of different. When I first walked around the provincial place, it's incredible all the things you see, all the different trades.
Okay. All right, anyone else? Thank you. Trustee Kendall-Rajwan?
Thank you, Chair Wilson. Congratulations, guys. I went to the skills competition this year. It's my third year in my first term, and this is time. I've come every year, and I took my kids and their friends, so they really enjoyed it. So a couple of questions I have is, what it sounds like you kind of answered it, but what prompted you to be a part of the competition, and what would you tell future students?
I would totally say if you have the opportunity to do it, do it. What prompted me to do it was I got offered. I really didn't know about it until it was kind of brought up in class, and it was only a couple weeks out. And that's kind of when the first time I learned about it, and I was put on a list of people that could go. So I said, why not? It's only an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, basically the same as Atticus. I would tell anyone, go for it if you have the chance. Great opportunity. I'll probably go again, hopefully next year for post-secondary to provincials. And then I got into it because my teacher brought it up and asked me to do it. It was offered to my whole class. I decided, sure, see what I can do. So yeah, ended up working.
Excellent. So, seeing no other hands, I have a couple things, comment first. First of all, it takes a lot of people to support you to get where you got. So you did incredible work to get there, and congratulations. There's some people behind that too, so they should also be commended. I do want to know from both of you how it was that Mr. Pearson supported you.
Good. He was booked all the hotels, flights, took care of everything for me, registration for the competition. Kind of just laid back and checked my email as he booked everything for me and set the whole thing up.
You got a caretaker.
We had
Sounds
we had
like
a little
it.
help from downstairs when it comes to flight bookings, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was nice to be able to go into this and kind of be told where we should be going, what we should be kind of figuring out, and it was nice that he helped out in that way. Like Aiden said, kind of did things for us. We didn't have to stress too much about where we had to be. It was kind of sorted out. And once we got to Regina as well, and it Skills Canada, everyone there, they also really supported us in that way. It was all sorted out. We just went where we were told, really. It was nice not having to worry about it too much, not being stressed out.
Some of us aren't very good about going where we're told to go. So you probably don't know this, but myself and Trustee Rye had the privilege of being toured around a little bit by Mr. Pearson, and he did take us to where you were working. So we saw you firsthand out at TradeX and the work that you were doing, and we knew from what we saw that there was a tremendous amount of pressure. So that means there's an extraordinary level of congratulations to you because you had to go through multiple hoops to get there. So this next part, you know that's coming. You will have to stay there and you will have to smile for Ms. Ferguson again. I'll be right up.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great on a resume too, right?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta go in post-secondary, because it just keeps getting better.
Thank you.
And we'll never be without a job.
Very well done.
That's
you. That's for you. I'll go over here.
An academic route, this is valuable.
Congratulations.
Just block up my extra chin. Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for sitting through this. This is really awesome. Yes, I do have my microphone on. Okay. I have one more announcement that I think is really important for us to share. We have a knowledge keeper in our district by the name of Dr. Gwendolyn Point. She is married to former Lieutenant Governor Stephen Point. And she is ever the most gracious lady I have ever met. She already had a doctorate's degree. However, University of Fraser Valley, based on her contributions, as you can see here, has received a doctorate in law from UFV. And here we want to say congratulations. That's very well earned. She's done tremendous work. She also used to be the chancellor for the University of the Fraser Valley. So she's done quite a bit. And she works with the Indigenous Education Council here in Abbotsford. And she provides great, thoughtful advice and insight to what is happening with our Indigenous students in our district. And she is to be commended. I will be preparing a letter on our behalf and sending it to Mrs. Point, so that, well, Dr. Point, so that we can officially say thank you to her. So we didn't want to let that go by. All right, there is one more item under announcements, and I will suffice it to say I will talk more about this at a different agenda item further down. But former trustee, I have to get used to this, former trustee Corky Neufeld ceased to be a trustee due to legislation in May 27th. And he was elected as an MLA, and he, due to legislation, ceased to be a trustee recently, although his plan was to stay until January. He wanted to be here tonight to say a few words to his colleagues, to say thank you. He was long-serving, 16 years, and it broke his heart to actually leave us. This is work that he's finding really difficult to disconnect himself from. But on our behalf, so the board is aware, he did bring greetings from the board to the Bakerview Center for Learning graduation. Okay. So we'll touch more a little bit on MLA Neufeld when we get to a later agenda item. Thank you. So no need to say anything at the moment, is basically what I'm saying. So at this point, I will turn this over to our two table officers, Superintendent Nozak, and you have many titles at the moment, but Dr. Nathan Ning, Acting Secretary Treasurer in this case, and I will leave it with you to lead us through.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. Dr. Ning and I will tag team this presentation. We will be asking the board to approve a budget for the 25-26 school year, and this is a conversation that we've been having over the months. And so I think we can go through a lot of this fairly quickly in that you have seen this material before. But let's consider, from December to June, all the processes that we have completed as part of our process to get to this point in time. And if you click to the next slide, this is a part of our annual strategic planning cycle. And I know the board likes us to punctuate the point that our budget is always done in concert with strategic planning. And we have a very sound multi-year strategic plan in place. I'll get you to click one more. And so our budget, of course, founded on some important guiding principles. I won't read them all for you, but I will say, of course, to maximize the allocation of resources to support the goals and priorities in your strategic plan is a key among them. And just to recap the notion that this is part of a broader provincial picture, and so the provincial operating budget coming from the Ministry of Education and Childcare for 25-26 is almost $9 billion. You are, of course, very well versed and familiar, as we all are in this organization, with our four pillars, which are absolutely core to how we prepare our budget and implement our strategic priorities. The next slide will give you a very specific picture. Again, I won't read them all for you. You're intimately familiar with them. But what the specific objectives are under student success, optimized resources, engaging opportunities, and a progressive workforce. And the next slide, we can pan back and see some of the top priorities for you, which include literacy, parent and community engagement, student participation in extracurricular, early learning, and of course, employee engagement. So in our efforts to support your strategic priorities, we were able to work with the finance team and earmark some money for some new initiatives, and nothing that is an ongoing cost, because we're certainly at this point in time not wanting to incur any of those. But you have a sense here of some of the particular priorities, mostly focused on student success. And I'll just walk you through very quickly what these are. You had a presentation tonight, and I'd love to say it was strategic, but in fact it was coincidental. But wanting to move the needle a little further with respect to the particular AI tools that we're using in our classrooms. And there are some monies there. And then some work around how we're using student data, and remembering that underneath the data, of course, are our students, and that's the FACES acronym. And then some work around assessment, leadership development, which is part of the progressive workforce pillar. Some ongoing work with student voice. That's crisis prevention, intervention training, and literacy and numeracy work with the target at middle there, and then also literacy work at elementary. Next slide. We have, as you know, built this budget on some assumptions, including a small increase in student enrollment, about 136 students, and no major service changes, etc. Next slide. And to remind you again of the pressures, these are very real, and as you will learn, we continue to forecast a structural deficit in the years ahead. And so pressures include a forecast for a decrease in international student enrollment, inflationary pressures, and some of the other pieces that we've had a chance to speak about in the past, which will continue to be things we need to be very, very mindful of. And I'll turn it over to our Acting Secretary Treasurer at this point.
Great. Thank you, Superintendent Nozick. So over the last few months, the board has heard around the financial health of the district, and as we looked at the budget headed into next year, one of the indicators of health is the accumulated surplus. And so as we budget into next year, we are forecasting a healthy surplus within the board's policy that outlines 1 to 3%, so between 2.4 and 7.3 million in surplus, which puts us in good financial position headed into the next school year. And so just a little bit more on that accumulated surplus. So there are some factors in that surplus internally restricted due to constraints on the funds, and so we have some targeted dollars such as for our Indigenous department that we must spend on. We have internally restricted for planned future operations, and so those are our school budgets and carry forwards. We have internally restricted for future requirements. This July, we are entering into our evergreening plan for technology, and that requires a significant amount of funding, and so we've set that aside as a part of the overall accumulated surplus. And again, when you look at the healthy range, we are in that between that 2.4 and 7.3 million. As you look at over time where we are with our accumulated surplus, you can see in the projected range a decrease in the surplus, but as we move closer towards the end of the year and as we forecast what our actual expenses are, we do feel that we are in good financial position moving forward. As alluded to, really our budget is based on enrollment per student, and you'll see within that there's some funds that are contributed through international. You'll notice in the middle of that graph, again, some other factors related to ELL and some of our special education funding that we receive from the ministry. And typically we've seen some growth in the area of inclusive education support needs. In terms of budget drivers, you'll see there up to 27-28, just staffing. Staffing is about 90% of our cost with wages and benefits. And again, we remain relatively stable within the staffing realm related to teachers, principals, vice principals, our support staff, other professionals, etc. When we look at what's allocated to schools, you'll see there on the left-hand side is really our centralized pool of supports related to non-discretionary targeted allocations. So a lot of that in terms of teachers, for example, based on collective agreement ratios, PVP allocations based on enrollments in schools, and then some targeted allocations such as the Learning Improvement Fund, ELL, etc. And then on the right-hand side is the allocation we will give to schools per student based on size of school, and you'll see there an indicator of clerical support in school between 1 and 3. So when you look at the overall budget, you can look at the consolidated budget. I won't go over all the numbers there, but you'll see when you look down the lines there at a total of revenue of just over 285 million, expenses of 288. You'll see from a consolidated budget perspective, we are in deficit of just over $1 million for the 25-26 budget. And then when you look at where, from a consolidated budget perspective, how it breaks down, on the left there, the source of revenue, and predominantly from the Ministry of Education and Childcare grants, at just over 92%. And then where our expenditures are on the right, there are the four broad categories where the majority is spent in instruction. So for the board, when we look at the operating budget, so if we factor out capital and special purpose, we look at operating budgets. For the 25-26 school year, we are, from a revenue perspective, budgeting for about $244 million. And so on the expense side there, again, I'll just draw your attention to the total expense there for the 25-26 budget of $245.66 million. And so, as Superintendent Nozick alluded to, we are budgeting for a structural deficit of just over $2 million for the upcoming 25-26 year. And that has not changed from our previous conversations around the preliminary budget. And when we look at where those expenses from an operating budget perspective, you'll see that it's slightly higher here in instruction when you factor out capital, of just under 85% going towards instruction. So as I said, when you look at the operating budget, there's a number of things that contribute additionally, and so there's a number of special purpose funds, and you'll see that in the budget document that's included for you, things like our Classroom Enhancement Fund, our Learning Improvement Fund. We received some dollars around mental health. But I wanted to point out the annual facilities grant and a number of projects that our facilities department work on, really over about a 4-month period. And you can see there of a total of about 4.8 million, where we have a number of projects that are improving our facilities across the district related to electrical, HVAC, interior construction, plumbing, roofing, upgrades, etc. And so there's further information in your package regarding some of these special purpose funds that contribute to the overall financial picture of the district. And so when we look at risks to the budget, unplanned enrollment change, here in Abbotsford, we've had a pretty steady inclining enrollment, but it is always something that we are watching in terms of our planning processes. We've noted in the past that we are anticipating a decline in our international enrollment, and that impacts the amount of tuition dollars we are bringing in. Like other districts, we continue to look at staffing shortages and some of the struggles related to recruitment and retention that school districts are facing provincially. Economic uncertainty and inflation, and certainly top of mind when we look at what's happening in our community and surrounding areas. Always there, unaccounted for unplanned expenditures, and again, that's why it's important to have a healthy accumulated surplus to address any of those expenditures that come up unexpectedly. As we move into the realm of technology, the security risks that come up, and certainly we've heard a couple of stories in the past couple of years of breaches and the potential liabilities and financial costs to districts, and we have a very robust system and support for technology here in the Abbotsford School District, but it's something that is a risk to the budget. And then, as we pointed out in prior conversations, the potential for increasing employee absence costs. And so we've noted in the past those increasing costs that are, we'll say, unfunded, but a cost to the district that we have to plan for out of existing budgets. And so Superintendent Nozick pointed to the guiding principles, which are there on the left, that support our process in building the budget for the upcoming year. And on the right-hand side is our response to the board on how we have adhered to these principles on the left in the development of the budget. And so with that, I would open up for questions.
Thank you both. Trustee White.
Yeah, just a couple things. I'm often championing transparency, and I want to say when it comes to the budget, I'm very, very impressed with how transparent this process is, and how much opportunity there is for community engagement. I really think it is just a great model for anything and everything we do. I love it, and so hats off to the staff that put a lot of work into this. So that was my first comment. My second comment is, this is the third budget I've been a part of, and every single budget we always budget very conservatively. So I say that for just as my experience. If we say there's going to be $1 million deficit, it's probably going to be a lot less in fact. But I get that we have to be very conservative, and I appreciate that it's conservative. So those are just a couple thoughts I have on the budget.
Thank you. Others? Trustee Roach?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I thought it was very good that we're putting so much towards literacy and numeracy, especially at the elementary and middle school grades. And I know all of us at the board level have talked about that quite a bit as priorities, so it's nice to see that reflected in the budget. And then sort of echo that fiscal conservatism point. I know some might view that as being perhaps too conservative and that we should spend more and so on, but we do need to realize that there isn't a backstop for us. If we run out of money, then we run out of money, and we'd have to make pretty severe cuts in some place that perhaps we wouldn't be able to, and we've seen that happen in other districts. So I think we've always planned well and operated this district in a good way fiscally, and it continues to be the case. So I'm supportive of that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Rai?
Well, it works. It wasn't working a little bit. So I will just move to approve. Well, we're not there yet. Two questions. First, about in the budget pressures on top. I think we need to add a line about the by-election that's coming up, because we don't have that in there. I think it's going to be there. It's an unfortunate thing that we have to do in by-election. It's about 300,000 to 350,000, which if we were not doing it, would have saved it for operations. But that's the reality of it. The second thing, in international students, is it like the decline is because of the world economics, or is it a deliberate step from us, from the school district?
Yeah,
I would guess it's international economics, but just wanted to be sure on that.
I appreciate both your questions, and so one, rest assured, we've been in conversations with finance around the scenario of the $300,000, and so we are planning for that. And yes, you're absolutely correct, Vice Chair Rai, that it is world economics with some of the federal policy changes and just some of the dynamics globally right now. There's not the same appetite necessarily to study abroad and or to pay the costs. Having said that, recent conversations with our international department suggest that we may land a little bit better than we have forecasted. So there is a glimmer of hope there.
One further question: can in one of the future agendas, and maybe in the fall or something, can we have a breakdown of how Pro-D money is spent in our district? So how much do we spend internally in the district, in the province, out of the country, out of the province? I don't want to, what is required, like if it's a outside trip because of hiring people or something, not those, just particularly Pro-D, and sort of what sort of things are they related to, just for information, if the board agrees, if we can have some sort of a breakdown on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rai. Trustee Kandaraj.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. This is just a kudos to Deputy Superintendent and filling in ST Nathan Ning. I'm like, what are all the words I need? ST Balastek was here for many years and he left, and I have to say it felt like nothing even moved without a hitch. Like, you were just amazing. There was no stress on our part. You were always had everything ready for us. So I really appreciate that, because it was very stressful the last few months. A lot of movement was happening, so thank you.
I'm going to echo your
Yeah.
sentiments.
As I'm losing my voice.
We all are going to echo the sentiments.
All right, go
If I
ahead.
could just make a comment. Thank you, Trustee Cantarajwan. I actually want to point to the Finance Department, and in particular Assistant Secretary Treasurer Monica Schulte, who I believe is probably online right now. They did an incredible amount of work and it made my job incredibly easy to come to you with the answers because of all the work they've done behind the scenes, her and her team. And so I just want to express my thanks and gratitude for them to stepping up in the absence of Secretary Treasurer Velstuck and making this transition almost painless.
As a great team, and that shows.
Okay. So before we move to the resolution, I have some comments. I will also be thanking the Finance Department, but first, I'd just like to acknowledge to the public just that significant reminder that there is still the budget pressure that will affect us going ahead, which is that of a by-election. The misconception that the city has to spend that money is ill-advised. The reality is this is money that comes directly from money that's already been provided from the provincial government that we now must remove and provide to the city of Abbotsford to provide a by-election for our district. You will notice that we are sitting here with 6 trustees rather than 7. Trustee Corky Neufeld, former Trustee Corky Neufeld, is no longer here. And under the legal requirements, we have to have a by-election unless a person steps down as of January 1st or later in the year of a general election. This by-election will happen in such a manner that a new trustee would not get sworn in until November 4th. And then we will be sitting with a trustee for 7 weeks before MLA Neufeld would have had to remove himself. So we have appreciated that MLA Neufeld had attempted to stay for the time so that we could alleviate the cost of a by-election. This is a difficult time around the province generally when it comes to some budgets. I've heard from many boards around the province that they've had to cut, smaller districts have had to cut 11 teachers. And, we're really fortunate that we're not in that position, although I understand from prior discussions that we will have some attrition perhaps in some positions that will assist in our budget. So sadly, that's not a reality that we want to be in, but it is the one that we are in, despite being currently in a healthy fiscal position. The second item that I want to just raise again to the board's attention is that currently we are in a public sector compensation freeze. We are not allowed to increase compensation of our employees that are exempt compensation staff, unfortunately. Last time this happened and we came out of it, and last year, the Public Sector Employers Council said, yes, go ahead, you can provide the raises and we will fund them. We are very unclear about whether that could happen in this upcoming year or not, and that could also be a budgetary cost of $400,000 to $500,000. So we are looking additionally, around, let's just call it $800,000 to be conservative, that could potentially be on top of the budget that we're looking at tonight, which is not me saying, don't vote for it. This is just me reminding you that in addition to the budget pressures that are named, there's always something lurking in the background that's beyond our control. So stay tuned. I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. And one of the things that we have raised with our staff also is in times of uncertainty, because we are still uncertain what will happen with future budgets, given tariffs, et cetera, we have asked our staff to just be cognizant of both the realities and optics of travel external to our district. And perhaps, actually, I'm going to put Superintendent on the spot, if you would like to comment on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chair Wilson. I would certainly say, you know, to your point, where we've seen our neighbors around the province having to make some cuts, that we're going to be very mindful of our spending, you know, whether that comes to, you know, things like where we spend on training or professional development that's not required, and certainly some of that's built into contract language, and just general spending. That's the era that we're in.
It's just a reminder that while the rest of the public sector has already dealt with those realities, we haven't yet. But it is something that we know that our senior staff are very aware of. So, thank you for that. And we are going to now that we've had the report, we're going to move on to our annual, oh boy, I lost myself. I fell out of the meeting. There we go. So our first motion is that we have all three readings of the annual budget bylaw for this fiscal year in this one meeting. Moved by Trustee Rai.
Yeah, moved by, of course, me, with a great thanks to Acting Superintendent, Secretary Treasurer, Monica, who's, I guess, online, and her staff.
Yes.
An amazing work. Sorry?
Yeah.
Lots of staff, and it takes lots of midnight oil to get this through. So thank you. Kudos to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Seconded by Trustee White. So, you're voting. We're all going to get a great big thank you for our financial department at the after this is actually passed. So there we go. Trustees Ryan Kandaraj one.
First reading.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Peterson, seconded by Trustee Kandaraj one. Voting buttons, please. No, second reading. You guys, you know you can make this go lickety-split. Second reading, please.
Oh, moved.
Trustee Rai, Trustee Peterson. Thank you. And now you can arm wrestle over the third and final reading. You need to read this one, please, Trustee Roach.
Okay, that the school district number 34 Abbotsford annual budget bylaw for fiscal year 2025-2026 specify a total budget amount of $289,567,458. I should turn this on. Be given third reading, reconsidered, and finally passed and adopted on this 17th day of June 2025.
Thank you. Seconder? Trustee Kandaraj one. It's the first hand I saw. There we go. So our 289 million point number, millions of dollars. So thank you, everyone. As you know, it doesn't fully fund all the things that we want it to fund, but it funds a great deal of it. And at this time, I would like to also thank Acting Secretary Treasurer, Deputy Superintendent, he's playing two hats here. So Dr. Nathan Ning, for your work on this, and Monica Schulte, I know that you're watching online. I know that the whole finance department is just on absolute tenterhooks, probably not, but wondering what we're going to do with this, and we passed it, and thank you so much. I'm talking into a camera because we know you're watching, and we do very much appreciate and value your efforts and work on our behalf. Thank you so much. Okay. Dr. Ning, update on personal
Yes.
digital device.
So quick update for the board regarding the personal digital device restrictions as a part of ministry guidelines that were in place for just over a year that we were able to communicate out to schools. We checked in with our secondary schools around progress, and what I'll say in the report, there's some more specific comments for you, but generally speaking, our schools have found the admin procedure and policy supportive of existing practices that were in place and supporting more consistent approaches, resulting in less disruption in our secondary schools related to personal digital devices. and teachers feeling supported with respect to some of the disruption that was occurring before. And so we continue to work at it. It's not solved by any means, but it was a good first step, and generally seen as supportive by both school staff and students at their school. So we're happy with the progress that's being made with respect to this particular piece, and happy to bring a further update to the board as we head into the next school year.
So reminder to everyone, this is for info, but any questions, comments? Trustee Roach?
Yeah, I think it's great that we're moving in this direction. When I was reading through, I was reflecting a little bit on some of the. We're giving teachers independence and autonomy in the classroom, which I think is appropriate. But at the same time, there's a pretty wide range in how teachers are sort of handling this or adopting it. So what I thought would be good is for us to bring a little bit more education towards the teachers, just so that, and administrators, so they can see different strategies being used with, in this area, different tools they could use, advantages, disadvantages of phones and devices in the classrooms, because ultimately they're not going to buy into any strategy if they don't believe in it, right? So education is the key in my view.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how other trustees feel about that, but hopefully they would agree.
Anyone? Trustee Kendra one.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. It was nice to see just an update from all the schools of what's working and what's not working. But I am just curious, what does a cell phone hotel look like? Like, everyone talks about, like, in my vision, is it just like a slot thing where you just stick your phone in?
It's not the Ritz.
Right? It's not the Ritz, yeah. But is that what, like, is there a name on it? Like, how do you?
There's probably variations out there,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it
just
would be
curious.
like a place where it has, your 30 slots, and students would be required to put the phone
Right.
into that slot as they come into the class.
No, I think.
Think of a shoe hanger.
A shoe hanger, yes.
Well, that's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to, like, just assume it. I was just curious how it actually looked. So thank you.
Okay. Others? Trustee Peterson?
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate the report, and I really am pleased to see that we've come a long way. But I do agree with my colleague that we need to continue to educate students and teachers on the appropriate use of technology. And the good news is I think our teachers having the autonomy in making those decisions is the right move. Teachers know when it's best to use technology and not, and to be able to support it with a policy, I think is much appreciated.
Thank you. So I have two questions and a comment. My first question is, these are the high schools. How is it rolling out in middle and elementary?
So I would say there are similar parallels to middle in terms of helping to support the existing practices. I would agree, further education and support, and I think we would hear that from our teachers and our administrators in schools, but ways in which we can support them better. And I know Superintendent Nozick, with our continued work in the AI world, that's just a natural part of the work that we need to do, and we'll continue to support that area. Elementary, less so. I mean, you occasionally, but it just isn't to the same degree as our middles and our secondary. So while you might get the occasional issue at elementary, it certainly isn't to the same level as a middle school or a secondary school.
So my second question is, as it relates to the activities in the school that are not within the classroom and outside of the breaks. So I'm talking about pep rallies, assemblies, et cetera. If you could please share with the board what that looks like.
Yeah, I think you're still going to see some variance from school to school, depending on the kids and what is the culture within the school. So there's an expectation that those devices remain off and not in use. But you can imagine in a larger assembly, if you have 1,000 kids, there does become a supervision issue. So it is around our ability to work with and educate students and staff around appropriate, effective uses. I think what we heard, the policy helps to reinforce some practices that were already in place for teachers. Now, we can't eliminate 100% all the issues, and we still get issues that happen, but certainly the policy and procedure helps us address those issues with some teeth, I'll say, at a school.
Thank you. And my comment is just that I'm going to install a cell phone hotel in my house. Just want everybody to know that. And if you come visit, you have to park yours too. Okay. Thank you very much for the update. It's very appreciated. We are now moving on to 8.7, which is a summary of changes to admin procedures, otherwise known as AP, which fall to the purview of the superintendent. Over to you, Superintendent Nozak.
Thank you. I'm realizing that my microphone seems to want to reboot itself
Oh.
here, so.
We can share.
Yeah, thank you for that. So in your packages, you saw and have an overview of administrative procedures that experienced significant changes and or are brand new. So maybe I'll highlight for you, I won't walk you through all of them, but if there are questions, certainly I'm prepared to field them. Significantly, we did not have an administrative procedure around media and media relations. And so in our work with the Senior Communications Manager, Christy Ferguson, who is just sitting over there this evening, recognized that there was an appetite on the part of folks who work in our schools, as well as for us here in the board office, to make sure that we had some clarity around when it's appropriate to reach out, how to respond, who should respond, and making sure that we maintain the board's reputation and, of course, our brand. And so we have some new procedures with respect to that. When it came to AP 105, our procedures around school improvement planning, those were really around tightening up the alignment, not only between levels, elementary, middle, secondary, but also tighter alignment with the required framework for enhancing student learning. And the tighter we can be there, and along with the board strategic plan, the better for everybody. And then some of the others were really around making sure that the language, whether it came to course challenges or assessment, reflected the language from the ministry. And so that's really it wasn't sort of fundamental beyond that we had some dated language. The AP 311, it's worth noting for everyone as we try to stay current with the language that we use, that we don't speak or try not to speak about diverse learning needs as much as we do about disabilities or diverse abilities. And so that's in keeping with ministry language, and I've sort of updated our language with that respect. AP 324, we used to ask parents to consent every year for student photographs, et cetera. And parents have enough paperwork to fill out every year, and so they have the option now to consent that will last from the elementary experience, the middle experience, and secondary. Of course, they can opt out at any time if they change their mind, but rather than ask them every year. And you will recall that we changed the requirement that the board had to approve some of the applications for example, a liquor license at the Abbotsford Art Center, so those can come through the district office. The video surveillance AP, really, there was still language around like videotapes and things that aren't pertinent, so we needed to make those changes.
We're sharing now. Okay, hold on. All right, questions, comments? Trustee Roach.
Yeah, thanks very much for the list. And recognizing this is not in the purview of the trustees, I thought it would be helpful in future when we make amendments to just give a black line copy, because then it would be really easy to just sort of see what's been adjusted or amended, and you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, but it's okay on this go round, but would be a good practice in future. Thanks.
Rajwan?
Thank you, Chair Wilson. I just want to say thank you to Superintendent Nozak. I appreciate the transparency and you finding areas that need to be adjusted or confirmed what to do different for our school. So thank you.
Thank you. I just what was the change?
There was
Okay, thank you. I did note, and it's I guess it's related to my question, but, nope, not that one. I did notice that in the video, the recording, 1.1.5, the board must conduct an annual review that assesses if the installation and operation of the video surveillance camera is accomplishing the purpose set out. Wondering if you could comment, like I don't recall the last time we did that. So I guess I'm looking for perhaps we could bring it to Finance and Facilities Committee. I'm not sure anybody else here probably remembers the last time that we've done that, and it is in the AP. And maybe we don't need to do it, and maybe that can be part of the discussion when we look at it at an FNF meeting, which is where these recordings would fall under.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think you're right. I think right now it's sort of through delegation on your behalf, but absolutely we can have that discussion.
Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Seeing no further questions, we will now go to operations 8.8, proposed public board meeting schedule, of which is something that we approve as a board.
This thing is not working. Move to approve.
So moved by Trustee Rye to approve. We're having mic issues here this evening. So I saw Trustee Peterson. Comments, concerns? None? Because your mic's stopped working? Voting buttons.
Joke and say my mic's working.
Okay.
Mike's working.
Or Mike's working.
So now we go to the amended capital bylaw, where there will again be a series of 3 readings, but I would like to ask Acting ST Ning, please walk us through.
So you have seen the capital plan. We've brought the amended as in the report that you have in front of you. We did receive approval for a 3rd school bus. And so that's been added as a part of the amended capital plan. And so that's before you for approval so that we can get the funding for that 3rd bus.
Move to approve all 3 readings.
Moved by Trustee Rye to approve all 3 readings in one sitting, seconded by Trustee Kandarajwan. Voting buttons, please.
Mike's on.
My mic's working.
Sheila's selling a shop at Seashore. It's
Okay, yours too. So
I
perhaps
approve first reading, or move first reading.
approve first reading, moved by Trustee White, seconded by Trustee Peterson. Trustee Rouch, if you could share your mic with.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, or I can just,
You have to be heard.
what would you like me to say? I'll translate.
Yeah.
All right, Trustee Peterson, oh yeah, there we go. It's weird, okay. Second reading, moved by Trustee Kandarajwan, seconded by Trustee Rouch. Voting buttons. I do recall one of my very early first meetings, I thought this is gonna take forever, and it's just like that. So, okay, 3rd and final reading with the mover reading, please. Trustee Rouch.
All right, since my mic's working, I'll go ahead and read it. That the school district number 34 Abbotsford amended capital plan bylaw number 2025-26 CP SD 3402 be given 3rd reading, reconsidered, and finally passed and adopted on this 17th day of June 2025.
Fabulous, and that was seconded by Trustee Rye. So, voting buttons. There you go. Okay. And now we're going to move on to, which number is that? We're going to go to 8.13, which is our, nope, yes. Where are we going? I'm moving too fast, too far.
813.
Okay, that would be the proposed major capital projects. So 8.13, acting deputy, I don't know who you are. Dr. morning.
Guy. Thank you, Chair Wilson. So I bring to the board two submissions. The first being the major capital projects, the 5-year capital plan submission. And you'll see in your package attachment, there are a number of additions that we are proposing that you've seen before. What I'll note for you is that there's been a shift in priority, and so this work that's been done by our facilities department, we've swapped Dormick Park with the Fraser, and these are all the prefab additions. But Dormick Park would be the number one project under the addition. Again, as we look and we had an update around the OCP plan, the McKee area, so a new school, and then some of the site acquisitions at the bottom of the document, and then replacement and seismic, again, there for you to look at. Again, this is connected to your long-range facilities plan, but I would offer any questions or...
Move to approve
Trustee
proposed
Peterson,
capital,
sorry,
major
the
capital
second?
projects plan.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Trustee Kenderaj won the second. Superintendent still is required to share my microphone. Okay, we are now moving to 8.14, minor capital projects. Acting Secretary Treasurer name. Did I get it? I got it.
You got it. Sorry, my computer is going slow to...
Oh, Trustee Roach and Kenderaj won. There's one?
Yeah. Sorry. There we go.
Fabulous. All right.
All right, again, second submission under the 5-year capital plan is the minor capital projects. As you can see there, there are a number of different areas, from the school enhancement program, carbon neutral capital program, the playground equipment program, and the bus acquisition program. So you'll see in the submission summary, again, 3 bus applications to address some of the aging that's happening within our bus fleet, and then some additions in the minor capital related to HVAC under CNCP, and some a few of our elementaries with the playground equipment replacement.
Trustee Rai?
Move to approve with the thanks.
Moved to, seconded by Trustee White. Voting buttons. Okay, and I believe, would you like, are you doing 8
I have one
point?
question regarding that.
Yes, go ahead.
I see we're not looking at electric buses. Is that something that just doesn't happen? Was there any consideration for electric buses?
I'd have to look into that, Trustee Peterson, to
Okay.
give you a fulsome answer, but I'm sure cost-related and infrastructure
I'm sure it is.
related.
Yeah.
I would assume.
I would bet. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Roach?
Yeah, and just a quick question. I don't see Dunac on here anywhere, and I do see things happening down at Dunac, and I've been asked from some members of the community. Are you able to share what the project is down at Mount
I'm
Lebanon
trying-
and Downs?
I can share because we get a space to store some of our, they're making a parking lot there for the renovation, and they're making it bigger. The project that's across the street from it, what is the business? Yeah, I think it is, yes. So that's simply going to be a parking lot.
Oh, okay. And that'll be some revenue then for the district, I suppose, since it's our property? Maybe it's worth looking into.
Yeah, I'm not sure where in the timeline we are, but yes, it is our property, so if we don't already at some point.
You should also recognize the Abbotsford Police Department uses that building internally as well.
Yeah. But it's our property, right? So hopefully we're generating some revenue to offset some of our other costs through doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent Nozak? 8.15?
Oh, yeah. Very, very quickly. So with the by-election that you referenced earlier, Chair Wilson, on the horizon, the school district will plan, and this is in keeping with tradition, to host an information session for interested candidates to learn a little bit about what that would mean, and to learn a little bit about our school district.
Thank you. Okay, so that's just for interested candidates, and they are coming out of everywhere. at the moment for the one spot, so. Lots of interest, which actually, that's a good thing. Trustee by-election procedures, this is something that would be new to 3 trustees who have not done this before. This is pretty standard protocol when it comes to an election about, even though we are required to hand the by-election over to the municipality, we still go through the formality of a by-election for procedures for the election for the city. So we just need a mover and a seconder, please.
I'll move with a question.
Trustee Rai moves with a question.
I can't.
Yeah, he can't do anything about that. So seconder?
You can ask my question. What if we say no? Like, does the by-election doesn't happen?
Well, he moved it. Can I get a seconder? Trustee, seconded by Trustee Kendraj.
I can move it and still say no.
Well, actually, it's an interesting.
Actually, no. You can only second it and say no.
What if we say no?
What if we voted against it?
Yeah.
Well, you could vote against it, but we'll be back at the table.
I would bet the School Act would have something to say about
Yeah, I
that.
know that.
It's not that it's required today, but we're going to have to do it regardless, so
But they can't force us to.
they can.
No, I mean, they can force us to do a by-election, but they just can't force us to actually physically vote on behalf.
So, does your mic does your mic
Could,
work?
could you turn your mic on and?
Well, I was just going to say, obviously, the ministry could force their hand and make us have a by-election, but they couldn't, actually force us to, as individual trustees, vote for this. I'm not saying I'm not going to vote for it. It's an interesting question that Trustee Rai raises. What would happen if we didn't vote against this, given that how much it's going to cost our district?
I can tell you that we would be redirected back to this table.
That would be like not passing our budget or any of those other required documents.
It would be an
that are
act of rebellion.
defined in the School Act.
Yeah, thank you.
It was just a thought. It was just a thought.
Trustee Rai has moved having all 3 readings in one sitting.
Yes.
So your voting button said it was seconded by just somebody. Kendraj one. Okay.
I'm tempted too. You're a rebel.
Well, it's not obvious that we're hopeful that we wouldn't have to spend this money. So first reading, please.
Peterson.
Trustee Peterson, seconded by Trustee Kendraj one. Voting buttons. Okay, thank you.
Move second.
Move second reading, that was not move and seconded, thank you. I heard move second and I had to think for a second.
Move second reading.
Move second reading, seconded by Trustee White. Okay. Voting buttons. Third and final reading with the reader, please, although we are still waiting for one more vote. Thank you. Okay.
I'll move it.
You need to read it, please.
Yes, sorry, I got to sync this up. And for the record, though, I don't like spending the money. I do think it's important we have 7 trustees. That the school district number 34, Abbotsford trustee by-election procedures bylaw 2025 be given 3rd reading, reconsidered, and finally adopted on the 17th day of June 2025.
Thank you. Did I take a seconder? I think I did, didn't I? No. Seconder?
Oops.
Oh, Trustee Kendraj one. This is your last chance to vote no. Just letting you, making you aware. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Viewing audience must be riveted by this.
Little banter and interesting discussion here.
We must have shut down and gone.
Hey, so there is a space on here for committee reports, audit committee, ed committee, finance and facilities. Would any of those chairs, so I'm looking at trustees Peterson, Kendraj one, and Vice Chair Rai, would any of you like to provide any update?
Audit has not met since the last meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. We met, I think, last week,
Last week.
Yeah. It was a great discussion of what's happening in the schools right now. Nothing specific.
Excellent. Thank you.
Education has not met.
And education has not met. So, thank you for those ever so brief updates, and we will now move to trustee announcements for those who have attended an event in their capacity as a trustee. So that list is in front of you. Would anyone like to make any comments or any such, anything? Trustee Rai, go ahead. Mike's working.
Just went to a lot of places, but I just wanted to say that today was the AVS Abbotsford Virtual School Convocation. What a great event. I've been there a few times at the convocation. I think the first one when I went, there was maybe 4 graduates and less than 10 total, including the online, including who were not there. But today, there was 19 present and 61 or 62, I think 60 who graduated from the school. That was an awesome presentation. And 1 or 2 who were in the adult category. I think one of them was quite emotional as she was crossing the stage. So an awesome presentation, and you know what, AVS is doing an amazing job. The rest, everybody is doing an amazing job too, but that I just wanted to make a special mention.
Fabulous.
Thank
you. Trustee Roach?
I just wanted to give a shout out again to Mr. Mack over at Abbey Senior, who put on an excellent year-end band concert that was well attended, and it was a really good show. You'll all remember I ran out to that one to watch it as a parent, and Bradner had an excellent May Day parade, and I got to go to drop my daughter off at a prom a few days ago, and that was also very well done over at Abbey Senior. So nice to see the schools all doing those sort of things.
Thank you, and just for clarification, Bradner was as a community member, yes. Okay. Thank you. Trustee Kendaraj, then Trustee Peterson.
Thank you, Chair Wilson. Yeah, you've noted quite a few events that we've attended this past month or so. So they've all been great. I really do appreciate the celebration for once is for Sarah for Women, because we're acknowledging that it's important to talk about abuse. And when I attended it, it was great to see the diversity that came out to represent the importance of supporting women and breaking that cycle. But everything else, great. But I just wanted to mention that it was just nice to see that we're trying to break cycles in Abbotsford.
Thank you. Trustee Peterson.
Thank you. I had the privilege of going to Asia's demonstration of learning in late May, and wow, I mean, anybody who thinks that education isn't doing well in our school district needed to be there, and you'd be blown away by the brilliance, creativity, and learning that's happening in that school. So well done to the staff and all the students for the great work they've done.
Thank you. I do want to highlight 3. One of them's not on here because it wasn't in my calendar, and at least in my school district calendar, but it was in my hard copy calendar. Not sure how I missed that. But so the first one I want to talk about today, I was a special guest at Abbotsford Traditional School for their grade 6, 7, 8 book reviews. And how fun was that? Every student in grade 6, 7, 8 read a book, gave it a rating out of 5 stars. There's nothing like seeing a 1-star rating. That's always fun. And then talked about the book, and they either could use Canva to create a poster, or they could hand draw their poster about the stories that they read. And the number of students that did their hand drawings that were, I believe Mona actually collected some photos today, because our director of curriculum, actually Tracy Chris, was also there today. And some of the work that these students put out was phenomenal. Some of the artwork was quite incredible. 1-star ratings to 5-star ratings. Some students who said that they really could care less about reading a book all of a sudden want to go grab book number 2, book number 3. What are they going to read for summer? And that was very reassuring for me. I love literacy. I love reading. I have stacks of novels beside where I sit and read my books. Get to go home and read some more tonight. So I was quite excited about that. I also wanted to talk about There was one more in here, where was it? Oh, open house at Augustin Elementary Child Care Center. The open house at Augustin Elementary, when it first opened, it had a child care center, and then we needed classroom space, and it was taken over. And since we've opened the addition-ish, and some of the classrooms have moved in, we've recaptured that space. And the excited parents who came in, it's really nice to see these young parents come in who are like excited to put their name on the wait list because they can hardly wait for their child. They're telling their 3-year-old child that they're coming to school. They're coming to preschool. But they're coming to school, and they're coming to Augustin, and now they're connected to the elementary school that they're going to be attending, and we all know that that's a win-win-win for everybody. So I just, big shout out to Andrea Senft. And I also, there's one more in here that I wanted to, okay, so we are very fortunate that last year and this year and next year, we are hosting the BC School Sports Rugby Provincial Championships. And we've been invited to the VIP event last year, this year. This year had the pleasure, they gave me permission to invite Mayor Ross Siemens with us, which is appropriate because the mayor and council are the ones who are caretakers of and city owns Rotary Stadium and the Legacy Sports Center that sits on the site as well. And the comments and compliments to the city for the facilities and the space that was available for the rugby players was quite well received by mayor and council. And also, BC School Sports just loves our space, and we got to see some of our own students compete, but you know, both in the girls and the boys in the rugby and the sevens. So, you know, quite a lot of activity was going on over a few days. And just seeing our own students, we don't have to travel to go to this BC School Sports place somewhere else around the province to go see our own students compete in this, and it was quite rewarding. So I just wanted to give them a big shout out. Trustee Kendiraj, one?
Thank you, Chair Wilson. I just wanted to note, I think it's Christy that did the Abbey school signs for convocation, right?
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. I'm going to convocation next week, but everyone's been posting, and everyone's just smiling, and it's just such a great addition to showing your school as one unit. So I really do appreciate that.
Instagram stuff?
Yeah, I saw it. It looks so good. It looks great. And just like it's unity, right? So good. Thanks.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. I think we're all very excited because next week it's convocation, and we're all pretty busy, and we all kind of like that. So it's awesome. We have one audience member this evening who, first, do we have any questions online? We have none? Good, thank you. No? Our one audience member has refrained from asking any questions. Thank you, Joanne. All right, with that, I call this meeting adjourned. Just a reminder,